So, a very good morning and welcome to BBC News. President Putin is insisting Russia has the right to defend its interests in the Ukraine after a 90-minute phone call with the US President Barack Obama. The two leaders spoke after the Russian parliament had approved the use of troops in the region. Ukraine's interim president has now put his country's armed forces on full combat alert. Simon Clemerson reports. Well, let's get more detail on that United Nations Security Council meeting Simon mentioned in his report. Ukraine's UN ambassador asked the members to do everything possible to stop what he called Russian aggression. That's Ukraine's UN ambassador. Well, Russia's ambassador to the United Nations is Vitaly Churkin. He said troops might be used, as he put it, on the territory of Ukraine, but not against Ukraine. And he said doing nothing was not an option. The United States called for international observers from the UN to be sent to Ukraine to monitor the situation. Its United Nations ambassador is Samantha Power. Samantha Power there. Well, let's cross over to the Ukrainian capital, Kiev. The Chinese authorities have blamed separatists for a mass stabbing at a railway station, which left at least 29 people dead and 130 wounded. A group of around 10 attackers rushed at passengers in the southwestern city of Kunming yesterday. Our Beijing correspondent Celia Hatton reports.
The government do everything possible to stop further bloodshed. Celia Hatton, BBC News, Beijing.
Newcastle United have fined their manager, Alan Pardew, £100,000 after he appeared to headbutt a Hull City player during their Premier League fixture yesterday. The gambling industry has been criticised by the government for not doing enough to protect people from losing money on high-stakes betting machines in bookmakers. The Culture Secretary, Maria Miller, says a new voluntary code of conduct for the use of gaming machines in betting shops will be made compulsory. She also wants to introduce stricter rules, like maybe making people set spending limits before playing. Daniela Ralph reports.
Ralph, BBC News.
The trial of the athlete Oscar Pistorius for the murder of his girlfriend Reeva Steenkamp starts tomorrow and is likely to be followed by a global audience of millions. Nowhere will they be watching more intently than in the victim's hometown of Port Elizabeth in South Africa. One of Reeva's closest friends, Gwyn Guscott, told the BBC's Andrew Harding that all they want is answers. Gwyn Guscott speaking to our Africa correspondent there, Andrew Harding. Well, let's go back now to the crisis in Ukraine and recap the main developments on this story overnight. Thanks very much indeed for joining us this morning. And I wondered how it was looking there. Is there any sign of the de-escalation that William Hague and others are calling for? Things starting to move, as you say, but what is the mood, what is the sense that you're getting of how people feel about this on the ground? The headlines now on BBC News. The former Northern Ireland Secretary Peter Haines says pursuing British soldiers involved in the Bloody Sunday killings is a waste of police time. To you, why do you think there should be this amnesty? Soldiers killed innocent people. Shouldn't they face justice? The events of the last week and what you're calling for today suggests that the peace process is not secure. There, Secretary of State for Northern Ireland in 2005-2007. Thanks very much indeed for joining us. Well, let's get more now on the mass stabbing at a railway station in China that left 29 people dead. A group of around 10 attackers rushed passengers in the southwestern city of Kunming yesterday. Well, let's speak to our correspondent, John Sudworth, who is there. John, what more can you tell us about what happened? Well, look, back here at home now, and the recent storms brought crashing waves, gales and flooding to Britain's coastline, and it's now believed they could also have had a significant impact on our seabird population. In Wales, a record number are believed to have died as a result of the bad weather. There are concerns that some species may be at risk, and a warning, you may find some of the pictures in John Ironmonger's report upsetting. This is BBC News Minutes. Time for a look there at the weather now, though, with Stav Danos. Over to you, Stav.